All right, so clear disclaimer. It's about to get wild. I'm about to offend a whole lot of you motherfuckers. I'm about to offend a whole lot of you. All right. I want to talk to you, and we're going to talk about the biggest elephant in the room. It's gonna offend a lot of you guys, all right? But we're gonna talk about it anyway. I want to talk about how massively overrated the Yamaha R6 actually is. It's so overrated. But we're gonna list some reasons why. I got about 5 good reasons why the R6 is overrated and why y'all continue to propagate the madness. Let's get into it. Number 1, it's got a peaky power band. And in my opinion, it's pretty much useless for the street. Not completely useless. It's, it's still a fun bike to roll around, but I mean, it's almost useless for the street. And the reason being is because the R6 power, it's like, it reminds me of my Ninja 250. Like the power band, to really get any power, you got to rev that bitch up to like 10,000 RPM or something, dude, to even get that thing to really, really open up. And for everyday riding, it's just, it doesn't compute. It's very slow off the line. It doesn't really have any low end torque. It gets smoked by 650 Ninjas.
What?
It'll get smoked by 650. No doubt at all. Hey, don't be mad at me. I didn't make it. All right, don't be mad at me. Number two, it's way overhyped by social media. I think this one is definitely going on you guys because you guys are the ones that propagate this bullshit. The R6 became the bike to have simply because y'all said that you should have it. YouTube, Instagram, all these influencers, it's crazy. They've labeled this bike as the ultimate sport bike, and it is not the ultimate sport bike at all. It just isn't. It's a track focused bike that you're riding on the street, and it sucks to ride on the street. I mean, it just is what it is. Let's see, what else? It's a terrible bike for beginners, but yet many beginners run out and try to get this bike. It's even not, I've heard some experienced riders complain about it as well. They got the bike and then, it didn't live up to the hype that they thought that it was supposed to have. And so a lot of these bikes they'll get resold, dumped, or just ratted out, you know what I'm saying? So just be careful with that. Social media overhypes these things, in my opinion. They do. The bike is overhyped. Number 3, like I said, it's terrible for beginners, man. It has a super aggressive riding position. If you are familiar with the R1, you know what I'm talking about. The damn thing is just it's not the most comfortable, right? It ain't the most comfortable. I would say if you want a comfortable bike, you probably have to, from Yamaha, you probably have to get a naked bike like the MTs. But it's got a extremely aggressive riding position that at first when you hop on the bike, you're like, yeah, it's so cool. But I'm telling you, man, a month later and you're like, this thing sucks. The throttle, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the throttle control, it's a little harder for new people because you have to wring the R6's neck out. You got to wring that thing up to like 10,000 RPM to start feeling the juice, man, to start getting that power, that oomph in it. And for new people, that's just, it's intimidating. I remember when I had my Ninja 250 and I started riding with my friends, I was like deathly afraid. That thing revved up to like 15,000 RPMs. That thing was screaming and barely moving. I'm just saying, man, like it was a little intimidating being a new rider, revving your engine that high because you feel like I'm doing too much. You know what I mean? It's just not the best for new riders to learn control of throttle and stuff like that on the bike, where everything is already so new and it's dangerous, right? So I would say that it's not the best beginner bike, even though it is a 600. Shoot me. It's not easy to ride at slow speeds. It is a light bike, but I mean, because of the ergonomics, like your seat positioning and stuff, it just makes it a little bit harder to control and maneuver on a daily basis if you are not that experienced with bikes to begin with. If you are experienced and you're coming into this like, I just want an R6 because I've always wanted one, then it's different. You're not going to really have any issues per se if you have that, if you already have that experience. But like I said, all these R6s, a lot of them end up, like crash, dump, sold, resold, simply because riders get them, especially new riders, they get them and it's just not what they expected it to be, you know, the hype, right? They've heard all the hype and it's just not what they expected it to be. I've seen it firsthand. Anyways, number four, right? There's just better options out there. We're in 2025. There are so many options out there that eclipse the R6. It's not even funny, right? I've already said it before. I've seen R6s get walked. I've seen R6s get walked by 650s. You know what I mean? 650 cc's, man. Like, what? You know, they're just not that fast as people think that they are. And there are way better options out there. Again, you have options that if you want to stay in the Yamaha family, I would consider the R7. Although the R7 is not truly, it's not even close compared to the R6 as far as like engine capacity. You know, you're working with an M-line versus, you know, a twin, you know, so it doesn't mean you can't have fun. I've got a buddy with a R7. He's a wheelie maniac. Shout out to Dustin. He's a maniac, dude. And I've seen people, you can look at them right now, you know, people are crazy with R7s, you know what I'm saying? You can have fun on that bike just like any other bike, right? But R7 is definitely a option. The other option is the most popular option. One of the most popular options. It's the Kawasaki ZX6. The 636, man, it is the king of the crop for a reason. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why mainly a lot of people, when they think of 600s, it's either the ZX636 or the ZX6R, or they're talking about a Yamaha, right? The R6. That's probably the most popular 600 in the class right now, because it continues to get, you know, like actually updated. Unlike the Suzuki 600 and stuff like that. But the other options you got are like a Triumph Daytona 675R, or maybe even the 765. I think it's a 765. Could be wrong, but definitely the 675 is going to be like your twin or like your direct competition when you're talking about the R6. So Triumph Daytona 675R, dope bike, super cool, triple. And that thing's got some mad mid-range punch. You get that thing tuned correctly and you're going to have a very fast bike. The other option, if you want to stay in the Yamaha line, you're going to have to go get yourself an MT-07 or MT-09, man. These things are really fun bikes. And if you like wheelies and things and lots of torque, the MTs are your way to go. Other than that, we got to really just understand why we're coming up to this fifth reason. Once they discontinued it, the hype for the bike got even worse. That's just my opinion. Just feel like nobody really talked about the R6 when it was here like they talk about it now that it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Almost like Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Like he's more valuable dead than he was alive. It's like, that's what they're doing to the R6. It's more valuable because it's discontinued. It doesn't even make sense. Yamaha, they killed this. They killed the R6 in 2020. It's the last one you can get. They made track bikes only, you know, especially if you go to Europe, you can grab one, but they make them track bikes only now, right? And the number one reason being that people don't like to say is because they weren't selling well. I don't understand how you guys hype this bike up like it is. Okay, look. I'll give it its respect. It's a legendary 600 bike in the racing world. For the street, it's completely different, right? It's completely different. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't selling well. That means you guys weren't out there buying it like you're buying it now. You're buying it like crazy, like hotcakes, secondhand. You're buying clapped out R6s and rebuilding them and stuff. And it's like, to me, I just don't even understand it. Go get an R1. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody hooning over the R6. The main reason is because you can't go out and you couldn't afford an R1 then, and you can't afford an R1 now. So you're stuck on the R6. It's time to let it go. It's time to let it go, right? Again, it wasn't selling well, but people still act like it's the holy grail of motorcycle sport bikes. It ain't. Let's see. Instead of like making the R6 better, right, and complying with the regulations, Euro 5, all that good stuff. Instead, they decided to move on and make the R7. And this proves, right? This proves that the R6 just wasn't a practical solution anymore. It just wasn't practical, period. And that's why they made that move. Moving forward, they're moving forward with an R9. They're showing you over and over and over again that the R6 is gone. It's done. It's dead. That technology is done. It's dead. They're moving on from it. You got to move on from it too, man. But again, you can go find a used R6. The prices are insane. People are paying ridiculous amounts of money, man, for an uncomfortable, impractical, and outclassed by modern technology and machines, baby. That 650 Ninja that's coming up right behind you that you didn't even see. Right? You didn't even see it. You didn't see it, but he gapped you. He gapped you. Now you're mad. And you're going to go find all the R6 haters and hate on them too. Anyways, my final verdict. The R6 had its moment. It's had its moments, right? But the hype lasted way too long. It's not the best choice for most riders, especially new riders. If you want the nostalgia and things like that, I would say, you know, it's all good to, you know, to take in that nostalgia. It's even okay to want to be a part of that nostalgia. Like, I just want to own one to be like, I owned one, and I know what it's all about. There's nothing wrong with that either, but just know what you're getting into, that it is a completely overhyped and it's not the best bike anymore. All right. The R6 is done. It's clapped out. And everybody that's riding them, I'm gonna come see you. But anyways, I'm just saying, you know, from an influencer standpoint and as a rider, I've had no desire to own an R6. I've seen plenty of them. I've seen good ones. I've seen bad ones. Just like any other bike, I just never really understood the hype of the bike. Maybe I have to own one to understand it, but I've seen plenty of people with them and I don't get it, right? I don't get it. So, would you ever buy one? Would you ever own one? What's your opinion on the situation? Again, it's going to make a lot of people mad. I get it. I'm not dogging anybody.
Why are you gay?
Who rides an R6. Matter of fact, if you get tagged in this video, it's because I thought you had a cool R6 that's just insanely overhyped. So if you find yourself tagged in this video, it's because I thought you had an awesome looking R6 and I wanted to showcase it and not put out, like, you know, I just don't want people thinking I'm just hating on the bike because I'm, you know, I just don't like it. I like Yamaha, right? I don't know if I'd ever own a Yamaha, like, you know, maybe an R1, maybe, I don't know. It just doesn't check all the boxes. It doesn't tick all the boxes, you know, it doesn't check all the boxes for me. And it's super uncomfortable. I sat on the R1, looks wise, sound wise, the R1 is amazing, but man, when I just sat on that thing, it's just so aggressive. It's so uncomfortable. Can't do it. Anyways, let me know how you guys feel. I'll catch you next video.